You know, Morty. Somebody said who said
That was me.
You thought I had a good Rick and Morty voice?
Do it.
Dawson has a tremendous Rick and Morty impersonation.
Oh, now I sound like Rick and Morty.
Yeah, now you kind of sound like him. Oh, that was really bad. Ugh.
It's weird when you're on the hot seat.
Yeah, I can't just do it on the fly.
All right, let's do the intro then.
Yeah, Morty. Let's fucking do it, Morty. Morty's hit the record button. Let's go.
brother.
All right, brother. Yeah, it's like almost a Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Should I do a Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, do a Hulkamania.
Ooh, ooh, yeah. I'm here to tell you, brother, we had Leah on the show today, brother. Check it out. Check it out, brother. Check it out, brothers.
I gotta say, my favorite thing to talk to her was.
Time out. This was live, right? You recording?
Yeah, I was recording this whole
Oh,
thing.
we're live.
Oh, I do this
Want to
live.
go again?
No, it's okay.
My favorite thing was probably like how open she was about her divorce.
You caught me way off guard. I didn't expect that.
Because she was just so open about it, and it's just like you don't really get to talk to people about it. So I thought that was quite a gift.
Yeah, usually you kind of tiptoe around it a little bit, but I think it's good to hear it the other way.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Leah was the one who designed our logo, which is awesome, and it was great for me to kind of hear about her creative process there.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Like, well, actually, we were talking about the podcast because she was a fan, and I was like, well, we're still like looking for a logo, all this. She's like, I'll do it, and she just ran with it. So
yeah, that was pretty cool. Hogan, what do you think? You know, brother, I think I'm gonna let you guys listen to this episode. So go ahead and check it out.
welcome to the Quality Under Pressure Podcast, a podcast that reminds you that a conversation is still a beautiful thing. My name is Min. Welcome, Dean and Dow.
Hey.
Hi.
How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Doing well.
Good. I'm excited for this episode. We have Leah in studio. We know each other from college.
Yeah.
But it's not like we hung out in like college or anything like that, but we've sort of stayed in touch via social media.
Yeah.
And I know you're this interesting person. And
God.
you speak well. And so that's nice for podcasts. So you know how to speak.
You speak English?
Another positive.
No habla inglés.
So I'm excited to have you here. Also, I think we're all excited to have you here because you designed our logo.
I did. And it was fun.
Yeah.
I was like, for the longest time, I wasn't lettering and illustration. I just kind of took some time off because, I don't know, work got really busy.
Yeah.
And I like what I do at work. So when I kind of get into that, I just kind of let the lettering thing slide. But I was just looking for something. I was looking for something to kind of kickstart it again, get me back into it. So this, like, your guys' logo was the perfect reintroduction into that.
It looks so good too.
Thanks.
When did you start doing that? And it's called lettering.
Yeah, it's called lettering.
Yeah.
So I probably started lettering, maybe a little over 5 years ago.
Okay.
It started with making my wedding invitations. I'm not married anymore. Started with making my wedding invitations, which was really fun. And I've always had this kind of like drawing and design background and that interest
Nice.
like since forever.
Yeah.
And wedding invites. And then I think I was doing a couple other wedding invitations for family, friends. And I wanted to make them kind of stand out and not just like, I'm going to download a couple fonts, drop
Right.
them in, just move them left and right, and da-da-da-da. I wanted to do something else, and I really like to draw, so lettering just seemed like the natural next step for that.
Yeah. Did you draw when you were younger?
Yeah, I drew a lot. I would draw... I would draw...
Dicks.
I would drop so many dicks.
Dicks on everything.
Dicks on everything.
Yes. No, that's totally true.
Have you seen Superbad?
What?
Have you seen the movie Superbad?
Yes.
Where, you know,
Oh my God, like the big veiny one. And all that shit. Yes.
Big triumphant veiny bastard.
Yes.
That was you?
That was totally me
Nice.
and my cousin. I don't know when we discovered it, but you know those fuzzy like. Sorry, mom and dad. Those fuzzy like. I know my mom follows your guys' podcast.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wow, shout out.
Oh, wow.
Say,
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
No, when we were my cousin and I, like, we discovered like the fuzzy porn channels on
Yes.
television, like from the old tube TVs, and then we
Yep.
like started drawing boobies and stuff like that, and then we'd hide our like we'd hide our drawings like somewhere in my closet.
Yeah.
And my uncle still gives me shit about it. He's like, "Do you guys remember when you drew like stick figures with boobies on them and like doing stuff, and then you tried to hide them?"
I thought you were drawing them like fuzzy. You just, just scribble them in.
Am I gonna look like that when I'm older? All wavy and shit.
Oh man, that's good. So
But yeah, I've always been drawing. And like elementary, middle school, and all that stuff. All the kids would be like, "Hey, can you draw my art project for me?"
Did you ever think about making it a profession?
You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be like a Disney animator. I wanted to do that for sure. It was either that or open a candy store. Those are my two, like, what I want to be when I grow up. But yeah, I did want to draw for Disney. But I guess, I don't know. I don't know when, but things just took me in a different direction. Because my background is marketing communications.
Yeah. Do you like rainbows and unicorns? Because you love Disney.
Dicks, boobs, rainbows and unicorns.
Rainbowy dicks and boobs.
Because it sounds like you're like this really positive person. You have like this positive outlook on things. So it's like you must love rainbows and unicorns.
I mean,
and
I
Skittles.
love seeing like when I see a rainbow outside after a rainstorm. I'm like, oh, fucking. Does anyone else see that? This like no one else is in the car with me. I'm like, look, it's double rainbow.
Rainbow all the
I mean,
way.
yeah, I totally love. It's like, what is that? Lisa Frank from the '90s.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rainbows and unicorns. And what?
Frank?
I know her cousin.
Who's her cousin?
Anne?
No.
Oh!
Sorry, I'm gonna see myself out here.
She has like famous cousins.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, pretty famous, right?
You don't know
Diaries?
Lisa Frank? Like erasers and notepads and
Like
pencils.
lots of
Trapper Keepers?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Lisa Frank.
Oh,
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
She had like unicorns.
Oh, yeah.
and stuff.
How could I
Way
forget
off
about
from what I
Lisa
was thinking
Frank?
of.
Man, y'all crazy.
Yeah. So when you watch a Disney movie, are you paying like close attention to the animations? And,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I I just rewatched Coco because it's on Netflix streaming right now, and they just like the worlds that they put together and designed. I'm just like sitting there like through the tears of my crying. I'm just like, oh my god, it's so beautiful.
You know? go ahead.
Leah, have you ever looked at doing like a side business of making them? Because our logo is awesome. Thank you again.
Yeah.
But there's websites like Fiverr where you can charge
yeah.
$10. It's Fiverr. You're supposed to charge $5, but you could make a couple bucks because, I mean, I'm sure it's hard to do, but you've done it long enough where it's probably pretty easy now. So you could make some pretty easy side cash.
Yeah, no, I've totally thought about kind of building a business. I am really great at procrastinating, though. I'm fantastic at it. So I've had it in my head for a while to be like, okay, I'm going to set up an LLC and, you know, put together my business entity and all that kind of stuff. There's someone that I work with, my colleague. She knows the ins and outs of like how to get set up because that's her part of the business. And she's like, oh, look, I kind of put a binder together for you. That binder's still sitting in a drawer at my house because I just haven't gotten to that point. And right now I'm like, since doing your logo, I've been doing a couple more things and I'm more doing it just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
So not trying to take it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to bite off more than I can chew, but I'd love to get there someday.
Yeah, I think because I follow you on Instagram, so it's cool to see like little things that you're working on. What is your Instagram so people can also see your lettering?
My Instagram is at Leah Ju, LeahJoo.
Yeah. And Frank.
I just legally changed it. Yes, Leah the Jew. What?
Yeah, I mean it's really good stuff, and I like your point because that's what I was going to ask too when you were talking about how you did it for your wedding invitations. You would do it for some other people's. Did you ever? You did it for friends, I assume, but did you ever like charge anything for projects that you've done?
Yeah, I totally did. I got to a point where I maybe like 2 or 3 wedding invite, I call them packages.
Yeah.
Because that's how I build them. And I got to a point where I could kind of put together a package of like what I'm good at and knowing just going through wedding planning, knowing all the pieces that are involved in wedding invitation sets.
Yeah.
So I did have a couple where I charged and I figured out like, that's like the toughest part too, is like figuring out how much do I charge people because I'm just getting started. So I can't be like, hey, this is going to be $5,000 because I know like the wedding industry, you can make so much money off of that. But I did get to a point where I charged, but I I dislike the wedding industry. So
It feels, I'm not good at that either because I did videography for weddings.
Oh, yeah.
And people were like, I liked talking, like going over coffee and talking to them. And like, they're like, oh, like, can you do this? And like, we want like sort of this spin on our video. I'm like, yes. Creative parts. And then like towards the end of the meeting, it's just like, well, how much, like, when do you want your money? Like, how do you want your money? I'm just like, oh God. Like, I didn't even like think about like, how much I'm gonna like ask for this project and things like that. I don't know. Just that part makes me feel so gross.
is that like a Midwestern thing? How we feel like really uncomfortable about asking for
Maybe
money?
But even like when my videography stuff started taking off, I almost thought about like even like asking like a Dawson or somebody, be like, hey, can you do the money part? If it got big,
Yeah.
I was gonna like tap into like my friends and be like, can you do the money part of it for me? Because like I feel like that would bother you less.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I mean, that's part of my job,
Yeah.
negotiating and making money. So, yeah, I'm okay with it.
It doesn't make you feel. I mean, I guess if it's your title too.
It does. But it's also the same thing. You're providing a service,
Yeah.
and you don't have to be the most expensive person out there,
Yeah.
right? But if you meet what they need and you tie up with their needs, then it's people pay a ridiculous amount of money for their weddings.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it's kind of it's not really greed because you're taking advantage of the situation, but
Right.
you're just going in and getting what you're getting paid what you deserve.
Yep.
So I mean, it makes sense.
Our wedding, now that we have two, or I guess we have one married person, one formerly married person, is our wedding's overpriced?
Yes.
100%.
Oh my God.
100%.
You like basically don't need one. I'm seriously just go to the courthouse, get your paperwork done, and then like throw a big party and like skip all that stuff.
Yeah. But the party portion is the only part that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't need to have like for my wedding, which was 6.5 years ago.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, we were out in the middle of nowhere, right?
Were we?
Yeah, it was Ramsey,
Were we?
right?
For the wedding?
The ceremony was in
Okay.
Plymouth, right? But then we had the reception half an hour away
Oh, that's right. Yes,
because everything was
that's
so
right,
damn
that's right.
expensive. Like we
That's
had
right.
a minimum of food was like $5,000 minimum.
Yeah.
The room had a minimum, and then we spent like $3,000 on booze. That's a lot of booze,
Yeah.
but not.
Worth it, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just I had a brother. My brother-in-law just got married. I don't even want to know how much his place was
Oh, okay.
because it was
He did it like even like fancier.
really nice. Yeah, it was at this
Yeah.
like formerly renovated mansion,
Right.
and like just the service was top notch. But it was great. Like holy cow, the service there was amazing. But I wouldn't want to pay for a wedding today.
Yeah. That's how I envision if I ever get married. That's how I'm envisioning it, is like one place. So like the guests also don't have to move back and forth,
Yeah.
and like plenty of parking. Like that's just a trip. Like when people are like, oh, we're going to have our wedding downtown, and like you have to
gross.
pay like $20 for parking and things like that. Just one place. And like the ceremony, like you got to do it just to, I feel like we still have parents.
Yeah.
And so like they're more traditional than we are. So it's just like 15 minutes. Like, do you actually love this person? Yes, I do. Do you actually love this person? Yes, I do. And then it's just like have fun, like socialize, party, and like that's what I'm probably gonna remember. So
Yeah, I mean for me, like I would say you're probably better off like investing in a house.
right,
Mhm.
Because some people are spending 40, 50, 60,
Yeah.
70 grand on a fucking one night.
that's a down payment.
In one night. Like you could get a really nice house for that kind of down payment.
Yeah, man.
So I just and like rings are such a hoax too.
Yeah.
It's just like
Um,
we didn't go crazy. I didn't spend. So to me, it's just a racket. So like one of my peers next to me, she's getting married in a couple months.
Yeah.
So she's talking about things. She was looking at a band. It's like $5,000 for the night.
damn.
For a
For
band.
like
wow.
but it's like 8 people to show up and play music for 3 hours.
Does she have to feed those people
Probably.
too?
Yeah,
Jeez, yeah, that's
I mean, you
another
don't
thing.
have to,
Yeah.
but if you're a good person.
You guys just go to McDonald's around the corner, okay?
Yeah, put it on my
Here's a
tab.
tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's $20. Treat yourself.
Oh my god, McNuggets! I feel bad for my wife. I feel like I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be the cheap one. I'm like, do we need that?
That was me. I said I don't want to buy.
Dude, good
I don't
for
want to
you.
buy
Really?
soda. I don't want to buy pop because it was a $200 fee to buy soda.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nobody drinks
if you
pop.
buy the booze.
Yeah, nobody drinks soda anymore. It's
Yeah.
all water.
It's called pop.
I always go back and forth because I don't remember. I mean, I've been here my entire life, but I don't
Yeah.
remember like the whole. Well, it's gotta be soda. It's gotta be pop. I don't.
Soda.
Yeah, soda.
Yeah. Dude, so you talked to your wife about that. Like, calm
Yeah.
down a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to pay for people's pop.
Damn, that's nice. That's gonna
Yeah.
be me.
Yeah,
No, I think
How
that's
about-
good.
I lost, of course, because I'm married.
How about you, Leah? Who did a lot of the planning?
We both actually did. Like, we really took it on as like a team, and did a lot of the planning together. And I think we're both, actually, let me back up a little bit. I used to not be great with money. But I learned how to be better with money. So at the point of planning, I was probably even more practical and frugal about spending than I would have been like years before or even before knowing him. So I think we both came at it from a really like, do we need to be spending this much money though?
That's great.
Kind of point of view. It still was like fucking a lot of money, but the folks helped pay and all that kind of stuff too. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the planning was done together and a lot of like the decision making, which is what, I don't know. I get like, some couples, one person kind of takes the helm and they're okay with that. They're like, I actually want to run this thing.
Yeah.
I just want to come to you to be like, blue or green. Oh, you want blue? It's going to be green. So I know that totally works for some people, but I like how it worked out for us where like we did everything. Like even the big things to the small things, it's like get agreement from both parties and then move forward.
That's awesome. Did you want, like, when you were in high school, were you like one of those girls that like already envisioned your wedding and you wanted to be hands-on about everything?
Oh, fuck. No, not at all. Even if you actually the wedding itself and like the party and everything was the most fun night ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like all family and friends getting together and getting drunk and dancing and all that kind of stuff. So that's probably, if I get married again in the future, that's totally what I envision, is just like that fun party. But I never pictured, even as a kid, like, oh, it's gonna be like I'm gonna ride in on a white stallion or something like that.
Did you cry when you found your dress?
No.
Okay. I don't know. That's how I envision like people doing it.
Are you gonna cry when you find your dress?
No, I'm not. But I just imagine like it's just like the bridesmaid is there and like, or the maiden of honor is there and like I think I found the dress, guys. And, like they walk out and all the girls are like, ah! And it's just like people crying.
That's pretty much exactly how it goes.
That's how we did it.
Yep.
I went to Men's Warehouse and I was like, Dawson told me to get this suit. Started crying on the way out.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So you weren't
You don't like the way you
No,
look.
I wasn't. Actually,
Brought to you by Mental.
like super non-traditional. I made my own dress.
What?
I mean, okay, let me back up.
Was it out of letters?
I did not. I lettered my dress. No. And I didn't make it myself because I can't sew with a machine. I can only sew by hand.
Even more impressive.
Which is more
I don't like your fancy machine.
mending things. Like I can put a button back onto a suit or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, there was this like dressmaker down in Rochester, which is where I'm from, Rochester, Minnesota.
Cool.
And fucking Rochester. So I told my mom that I think this is the one thing that I probably envisioned for my wedding
Nice.
was having a modern hanbok.
Nice.
So that's what I did. I didn't want the like, David's bridal white dress thing. It's just not my style.
Yeah.
Even though I think they're totally gorgeous gowns out there.
Right.
And part of me was like, oh, maybe I should have done. No, because I think in hindsight, I would have regretted not making my own or being part of the process of making my own like modern hanbok wedding style dress, rather than regretting not purchasing something off the rack or something like that. But yeah, that's what I did, and I incorporated a lot of colors because that's what in Korean culture, that's what the hanbok is all about. It's like there's a lot of colors, and certain colors symbolize different things, and that's what I wanted.
Do you consider yourself a laid-back person?
Oh yeah, pretty much.
That's what it seems like. Just like this thoughtful, outside the box, and like sort of laid-back person.
Thanks.
Yeah. Kick some ass.
I'm going
Drink
to put
some
that
beer.
on Bumble profile. I'm a thoughtful, laid-back kind of person.
That's awesome. Also, earlier, I wanted to say, I feel like out of the three of us, like Dean asked the fewest questions, but you asked the best questions.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you.
That's that's good stuff. Should we do the
Hit that music,
the
man.
lightning round? You got it?
I got it. I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
A little untraditional here.
Oh, hold on. I didn't even tell you what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's okay.
No, don't say anything.
Don't say anything. Just hit the music. Don't ask questions.
So a few episodes ago, and fuck you, dude. I can't just throw her to the wolves.
I mean, what do I do? Is it just like
You
first
just-
word that comes to mind?
Like before,
Penises.
No.
I
Well,
love
you
drawing
could.
penises. I love thinking about penises. Cause like before I would ask people like, what's your background? Where'd you start in life and all of that? But it would be much more interesting if we did a lightning round of questions.
Okay.
So that's what
You're
you're
getting
about
all
to
my
enter.
demographics through a lightning round.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, they're not that hard, trust me.
We're gonna hit you with that right now. Ready, Dow? Sorry, dude. God damn, you look pissed right now.
Because I had my music, then my music stopped, and then now I gotta go back up. You think you're mad? Listen to this jury music right now.
Sure.
It's the opposite, right? All right, Leah.
Epic music.
Yeah, because you're gonna answer some questions. Keep it going. Just... Yeah.
Where are you guys going?
I thought you were gonna turn it off.
No.
All right, Leah.
Yeah.
I've got a series of questions, and don't think about them too hard because they're really brain busters.
Okay.
We'll start off here. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Good answer. I don't think we've had a cat person yet.
Nope, not yet.
What's your favorite food?
Pizza. No, that's wrong. I like soup.
Too
I
late, you
really
already said
like
pizza.
God damn it!
Forever pizza.
What was your high school celebrity crush?
Oh my God, Josh Hartnett.
Ooh,
Oh,
Minnesota
nice.
boy. Hot dogs or hamburgers?
Hamburgers.
Nice. What's your favorite movie?
Oh my God, I watched way too many movies that have a favorite. Moana.
Moana.
Oh, God,
Nice.
yeah.
I was Maui for Halloween. Little
Nice.
unknown
That's
fact.
right.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Telekinesis.
So you could think
Whoa.
the letters.
Make those letters move.
I guess blonde or brunette? Am I
Um,
supposed to ask that one here?
Yep.
Okay.
for dudes.
Whatever.
For
Don't
For
think
the
too much.
perfect
male
male specimen.
brunettes, dark hair,
Nice.
Do you have what's your favorite band or musician?
Yellowcard.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's 2 episodes back with Punk that goes back to our roots.
I was all about that.
All right, here. Are you afraid of public restrooms?
No, weird.
Okay. Hot or cold?
Cold
What is your favorite sport
to play.
or anything? Watch, play.
We'll be asking the questions here.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Ah, okay, favorite sport. Bar volleyball
Oh, nice. In sand or?
in the sand.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am asking the questions.
Sorry, dude.
Sanders. No, I'm just kidding. What's one place you'd love to visit?
Tokyo.
Nice.
Tokyo. Nice. And I'm going to improv here off the list of questions that were predetermined. Since you said pizza was your favorite food, what's your favorite pizza topping?
I like prosciutto.
Prosciutto. Shut this
Not-
thing down.
not-
We're out of here.
Not just pepperoni or
Fancy.
sausage. Or...
I hate sausage.
Dude,
I hate sausage on pizzas. I said it.
Wait, you hate it though?
But you like
Hate it.
sausage, like maybe
Is-
with eggs or
no.
Oh, so you're just not a sausage person.
Yeah, I mean, I like sausage links. And then
Fuck patties.
But no, sausage on pizzas is not my thing, and I hate surprise sausage where I think it's like, oh, I thought that was like ground beef
My
or
wife calls
something.
it.
It's like surprise.
Sorry.
It's like don't want that in my mouth, man.
Ew. Oh man. That's
Sorry,
good.
Mom.
Yeah.
I know
Oh, yeah,
mom's
your
listening.
mom
No,
listens
My
too?
mom's not listening, but Leah's mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, mom.
We talked about
Yeah.
surprise sauce.
Sorry.
What's mom's name again?
Possible employers who hear this.
Back to yeah.
My mom's name is Janet.
That's right.
Janet.
Jan,
She
the
follows.
cheerleading.
She follows our Twitter account.
Ooh,
She follows your Twitter?
Shout out
I
Janet.
didn't think
Not
she
mine.
had Twitter.
Not mine. Or not Twitter. Sorry, Instagram.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She's on our Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope.
What is your mom like?
She's
A saint.
Right?
she's awesome. I love her.
Is she also creative?
She's you know, she's a different kind of creative. She like did scrapbooking for a while. She did like I think she helped make ugly Christmas sweaters at one point in time, but you know, they weren't ugly back then. But it was like, oh, a sweater vest and I'm going to put some snowmen on it.
Yeah.
But she's crafty. She's like
Yeah.
into crafts, definitely. But she's bubbly and she loves talking to people. She loves talking to strangers.
I love that.
I was just telling my cousin today, I was like, I think I'm becoming my mom because I kind of like randomly talking to strangers to be like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
This line of Target's taking a while, right? Yeah. And it's just like I give her shit for it as a kid, and now I'm like doing it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be my mom. But you know what? That's okay.
Isn't that always the case though? Like,
I think so.
Don't we always become our
We
parents?
always become our moms, yeah.
Even though like when you're
It's
young.
your mom, not your dad's.
I think I am gonna become my mom though. I'm much more like my mom than my dad.
Okay.
How about you, Dawson? You're gonna become Brad for sure.
I think I'm a mix. I think I'm a pretty good mix.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, 'cause my dad's very laid back,
Yeah.
but my mom can be laid back, but then she can just get so stressed out of things really fast.
Yes.
Very similar. So
Oh, you don't get stressed out though.
I mean, you don't see me with the 3-year-old.
Do you hide it well?
Okay.
No. Not when I get frustrated, I get frustrated.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think it's a pretty good mix.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Dean? Who are you gonna become?
My dad.
Okay. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah, I'm gonna become my mom probably. You're becoming your mom, you think?
Probably a little
Yeah.
bit, but maybe a little bit of my dad too. I
Yeah.
don't really know. Hopefully, I just become me.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I hope too.
Yeah.
but slowly but surely. I do want to loop back to your yellow card answer. So that is your favorite band?
Yeah.
Always?
Since 2006.
That's great. One of the first links that I had with you, Dawson, was chemistry class.
Yeah.
And we would always talk about Yellowcard.
Right.
I mean, it was like video games and like music, so we would always talk about Yellowcard.
Avondale?
Yeah, yeah. Even like deep Yellowcard tracks, but like Ocean Avenue had just come out.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just like,
God,
are you
yes.
listening to that? Like, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I don't know where. It's probably in the heyday of like MTV having music videos.
Right.
Is MTV still a thing?
It is, but they don't do music videos.
Okay, that's sucks. Ocean Avenue came out, and I don't know what it was. Like, just their sound just got me hooked. And I think I went. My one and only Warped Tour was
nice.
in 2006.
Nice.
I think, and I went with my cousin and my best friend.
Was that
and
at the Metrodome?
That one was. I don't remember.
Yeah,
it was in
had
a
to have been.
lot
I think we
outside
went
the
there, yeah.
Metrodome.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
was such a blast.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen them again before they stopped. Like, was it this year or last year? They were
2016.
done.
Yep, they finished. Yeah.
Okay. So
I almost died at a Warped Tour.
What?
Remember that? Our
that
first
was-
one?
I just remember there was like 2 or 3 of you guys that almost died.
How?
So it was the first, I think it was our first one we went to.
Yeah.
And it was the year My Chemical Romance was getting huge.
Oh.
So we knew, kind of figured out, we walked in the doors and all of a sudden, like, how does this work? They had the big bands later on. And we walked in and we heard All American Rejects. So we sprinted to that stage. And then we kind of figured out there's a big inflatable. So we got to figure out where we want to be, when we want to be there. And we're like, okay, My Chemical Romance is going to be on this stage at this time. So let's get there super early. And we were probably, 5 rows back from the stage. And as soon as they hit their first note, everyone in the back just pushed completely forward, right? So I got squeezed between 2 or 3 people, and I got my knee hit down. So me and a couple of people just started going down, and we're like, you've seen Game of Thrones, like when Jon Snow's getting like covered by people.
Yeah.
Spoiler, sorry. So he's getting like covered, and I'm like, oh shit! and I started to like pass out because it was so hot.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
talking like 110 degrees on the concrete, and I'm hot anyways, and I just go down, and all of a sudden I start to like black out.
Holy
And,
shit!
yeah. So I'm getting blacked out, and all of a sudden I feel this giant man like pick me up and like lift me up. He's like, "You're gonna be okay, son." And then like,
And then the Knights of the Vale rode in, and
yeah,
like,
pretty much. And then I got crowd surfed to the front, which wasn't very far. And then the security guards pulled me down and like, all right, get to the back. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
So I got to watch the show from the back of the crowd while my friends got to have the time of their lives in the front.
Did you ever reconnect with that man?
Nope.
oh,
Never found him again.
No.
he's just your guardian angel.
Yeah.
That's right. He was a huge savior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I almost died,
Yahweh
sir.
himself.
Incredible.
Big beard and everything.
What other bands do you listen to?
Other bands. I listen to Jimmy Eat World.
Nice.
That's another one, and I'm listening like to their old stuff mainly,
Yeah.
like because I'm nostalgic as fuck.
Their new
so.
album's good though.
Is it really?
Yeah, it came out 1 or 2 years ago.
Such a hard time listening to new music by
Yeah.
bands. Really.
Because I did Jimmy Eat World that era, and then kind of into Futures, the
I like
album.
Futures.
Yeah, and then I fizzled out on Jimmy Eat World. But their new one's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jimmy and Panic at the Disco.
Nice.
I've liked almost all of their stuff except for Pretty Odd, which was pretty dumb.
That's the one.
Oh.
Hold on. Where's that noise here? Pretty dumb. Yeah, that's the one to miss.
Yeah.
I'm weird on Panic at the Disco because when they did that album that made them huge, I wasn't into them. I wasn't even into Fall Out Boy at that time. I just didn't like that sound for some reason. Panic at the Disco, their latest album is not my favorite, but their two before that, Death of a Bachelor and Pretty Odd. No, not
Vices and Virtues.
Not Pretty Odd.
Yeah.
Too Young to Die.
Too Weird to Live. Too Young to Die.
Something like that. Yeah. Those two are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen Panic at the Disco a few times. Dean?
Yeah, we have.
They were on tour. It was Fall Out Boy, them, and Blink, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, that was a cool show.
Yeah. That was supposed to be Blink-182's farewell tour.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
That was the last time the three were together that we saw, I think, right?
Yeah, Tom, Mark, and Travis, yeah.
Oh, God, that's right.
That'll never happen again.
I was like, what do you mean the three were together? I forget,
Yeah.
Weirdo's not in the band
Yeah,
anymore.
oh, man.
But he's still going to tour with Angel and Airwaves, which I don't get. Like,
Is he, though?
Yeah, he said next summer, they're Angels and Airwaves
But he
going on
said
tour.
that every year, though.
I don't know.
Every year he says he's going to put out an album or a book or a documentary, and he never does.
Well,
He's weird.
you're just not smart enough for what's going to come, so he's got to make it simple for you.
Tom DeLonge.
I didn't realize Angels and Airwaves is still like.
Yeah,
Exactly.
No one
Like,
does.
No,
I thought they had like one hit.
They had like couple decent songs that were in the.
It was like a
mid-2000s.
decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he
Holy
did better
shit.
because like his songs were like in commercials and movies and stuff. Because it does sound good for that.
Yeah, it's catchy.
Yeah.
It's catchy.
Yeah. Did you do any heavy metal or like more punk than Yellowcard?
I was into Motion City soundtrack.
Yep.
My Chemical Romance. Should just pull up my Spotify playlist. I'll just send it to you, and you guys can disperse all the random playlists that I make on Spotify.
That's great. So you had good taste in music.
I had, and there was just a time, and I'm kind of going back to it of like that type of music, and I don't know. I think right now I tend to go back to it because what I'm hearing like over and over again on the radio is like basically the same song sung by different artists and just like tweaked ever so slightly, and it just I can't.
My friends that do like EDM music, I just make fun of them because like I'm like, what is EDM music? Basically, it's the same stuff. No one's singing or anything, but basically it's just. That's what you're waiting for. Right? Yeah. Every song.
Do you guys watch New Girl?
Nope.
Oh my
No, I
God!
haven't.
What the? Okay, all three of you need to go watch this, and I don't remember what episode it is in particular.
Is it on
but
Netflix?
Yep, it's on Netflix, and there's this one episode where one of the characters, Schmidt, he really likes EDM music, and he's like got like this like elitist viewpoint of it, and he's like, I can tell who does what based on like their signature whatever's like beats in the song. So two of the other characters are like, we're gonna make something. And we're gonna convince you that this is a famous artist and it's gonna be some shit we made up. It's a fantastic episode. It goes along with that, like, EDM is like just the same shit over and over again.
I totally feel like I would understand that episode because it's like you don't know this song. Like when I go see like bands that I love and like I'm interacting with like the people around me and we're like rocking out and things like that. Like I know the song, so like the way I move is like with the song.
Yeah.
But like EDM, every song is the same. You're just waiting for that part. So it's just people like, oh, I hear it getting
Everyone's like
faster.
vibrating. Ah!
Yeah, and then like when the bass drops, it's just fists in the air. It's like, but you don't know this song. You just know the structure.
Don't forget that is huge because what's coming up at the end of the month?
Yes.
Like a 2-day EDM festival at the convention center.
know.
Like it's sold out. There's like 80,000 people.
Is
going.
it sold out?
What?
I don't know. I'm just guessing it's probably
Wouldn't
sold out.
surprise me.
I
though.
don't think it's sold out because I still see promotions, like sponsored promotions on Facebook. I don't think they would pour money into it if it's sold out.
Who's that? It's Skrillex, right?
Skrillex.
Yeah.
I want
And Marshmallow.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay. But he's playing on the 30th.
Okay.
Skrillex is playing on New Year's Eve though, which is like crazy. Like out of all the places Skrillex could go,
That's what I'm saying. It's big.
He's
It's
coming
a big
to
Yeah,
show.
he's
the
in Minneapolis.
convention center?
Yeah.
convention center in Minneapolis
Yeah.
for the New Year. Like you can make more money somewhere else, probably.
Yeah. But
I
why
don't
the
know.
convention center?
Because it's got like a huge room. So there's gonna be like 80,000
Yeah, they
people.
sell more tickets. Yeah.
That's more
why-
than like they can fit into U.S. Bank Stadium.
Is
for
that-
football.
oh.
No. I think U.S. Bank can do 100,000 for concerts.
No way.
Well,
Really?
They do 67 for football games.
Yeah.
And you've got an entire field you can fill with people.
Ooh.
Well, so maybe 75,000,
I could see that.
80,000.
I could see that.
So I mean, probably similar size, but I don't. Yeah, I mean,
And that's the thing. Like, I emailed Dean about that show because I don't do a lot of EDM. We've done like, what's the one we went to Halloween?
Zed.
That was like fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun. And I was just thinking like, Skrillex is probably my favorite like EDM DJ.
Really?
Yeah, because his is so much more aggressive and like coming from like a metal like place.
I can see that.
I'm just like, dude, this makes a lot more sense to me. And so I always told myself I would see him live, and like all of a sudden it's like this huge like New Year's Eve party. I'm like, let's go, but it's like you have to buy 2-day passes, and it's like close to $300.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
So I'm like, can I just sell the other day and not see Marshmello?
You probably could.
Marshmallow's cool.
Yeah, but if it's not sold out, I'm still thinking about
He's
it.
good at Fortnite.
Are you still thinking about it?
I mean, it's really not on my radar, but if you said I'm gonna go, I'll go with you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's all go.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not doing anything on New Year's Eve. I have a wife and a 3-year-old, so
So you can come with us?
probably.
What? Really?
I mean,
So
Why not?
excited.
I would pay.
my wife will be in bed probably by 9:00 on New Year's Eve. So
I would pay $300 to get wasted with Dawson and Dean and rock out to Skrillex.
Well, maybe if this Snowpocalypse, what's the show called?
I think something
Just
like that.
start hashtagging them and shit. Maybe they'll like give us media passes or something.
I'll probe them.
You
I'll get
probe 'em.
Yeah,
Skrillex to
do
come
that.
in.
Yeah, get Skrillex to come on the show for 20 minutes.
Like, dude, we host this really big podcast.
Huge.
So many listeners.
Huge. So many listeners.
More listeners than any podcast that's on History Podcast. We created podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. So you have good taste in music. I also wanted to ask you about Tokyo. Why was that the place you would want to visit the most?
I don't really know.
Yeah.
I just really want to go there. And from people that I know that have been, they're just like best vacation ever. And I'm like, all right. Yeah, I want to give that a shot. Maybe it's from Tokyo Drift. I don't know.
What did they say specifically that they loved so much about Tokyo?
Conan O'Brien.
They never got specific.
Okay.
And maybe that's why. They're
Sure,
just
you
like,
wanna
on
find-
the whole, it was
yeah.
just like a really amazing vacation. But right now, I don't know, maybe it can't compete with my best vacation that I've had recently, which is Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, tell us. But Conan O'Brien recently went and did a remote episode in Japan. Like, you know how he goes to different countries?
Yeah.
That's what I was referencing.
Oh, but he's not like big. He's not like a cultural phenomenon.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
He might be.
Okay.
Why did you love Colorado?
It was my first solo trip since being divorced.
Nice.
And I know the guy, like I went and stayed with a friend, but I traveled on my own and I got to do like a couple things on my own, and it was just really, I don't know, it was really freeing. Like
Yeah.
I didn't make any plans. Like we didn't have, like, it was like, you know how so there's some trips where like we're gonna do A, B, and C, and like, you guys look at the time, we have to leave here to get to the other one. It's just full of stress.
Yeah.
This had like zero stress.
That's
There was
awesome.
no planning, and we're both of the mindset of like, hey, do you want to do the thing? Like, yeah, okay, let's do the thing. Like, that's probably like my favorite way to vacation.
Yeah.
Is just keep things pretty loose. Also, because it's legal there, totally got high and it was amazing.
Nice.
Nice.
Edibles or?
Not edibles.
Oh,
No,
wow.
Just toking it up.
Wow. I'm just so bad at, I'm bad at inhaling smoke.
Okay.
So I just can't. I just can't.
I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing to, like, something to be good at.
Yeah. I'm proud that I can't inhale smoke. So
Do so many dope smoke tricks.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the rings. You see
Oh,
the
the-
It's like,
yeah.
come on, you guys.
Yeah.
I remember on Snapchat, like that's used at one point. That's all I would get when e-cigs were like hitting its peak.
That's all you
vape
got.
tricks.
Just people like blowing into the camera. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. Stop.
I get it. We get it. You vape.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then the face filters came out, and it was that plus blowing smoke into the camera.
Classic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the opposite when it comes to vacations. I have, like, if I'm going somewhere, I'm spending money, I have to be like, I'm going to do this, and this. And I don't like to, I guess I don't like to relax on my vacations.
Yeah, but I like both. There's times where I need that structure and I need to know where I need to go and like time and things like that, and that eases my anxiety in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also times where it becomes so rigid. You're like, I love it here. Why do I have to go
Yeah.
to visit like this cheese factory for 30 minutes? Why don't I just spend 3 extra hours here?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think there's a beauty to having a little bit of both structure, so you kind of know what you're going to do with your day, and then you're not sitting there like 2 hours later like, oh yeah, I probably should have done something. But yeah, I like being able to, where it's not like go, we have to be on time for certain things.
And some of my favorite adventures are when we didn't even like book a hotel. I'm like, we're gonna go there and we're gonna find that out later. Like those are like, it made me nervous at the time, yes, but those are like some of my favorite memories.
That's a little stressful. That's a little stressful, yeah.
I
For
don't
me,
like that.
yeah, for me, I like to have an idea of things that I should do and want to do,
Yeah,
but I don't really schedule anything until I'm there.
that's
Yeah,
good.
that's how I like to approach it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. May I ask how far removed that trip was from your divorce?
that trip was mid-August, and the divorce stuff I think got finalized mid to late May is like when all the stuff went through. So like changing my name back, and then
Yeah.
having the courts, I guess, like be like, sounds good, check that box.
Yeah.
So however many months that is.
Do you feel like that was a big factor in how much you enjoyed that vacation?
You know, I think it was. I think it was like this vacation was all about me, and I think that's probably part of it about why I just like kind of got to do things for myself and
Yeah.
had that much fun, because I didn't have to take in. This sounds gonna sound selfish, but I didn't have to take into consideration like another person or
Yeah.
other people, because like we would do family vacations a lot. But yeah, just like not having to factor that in. And I think that's probably a part of why it made it so fun. And also the guy that I stayed with is like the coolest human being that I know.
Yeah.
And
Also,
that
I
was
don't-
just really fun.
I don't think you have to think of that as selfish, because everyone needs time to themselves. But there are, and I'm getting this sense from you, it's the same for me, where you realize there's this sort of dynamic where when you're sort of responsible for other people, or like when you're planning for other people, you want to take in all of their thoughts and considerations, and that's a good thing. But no doubt that's a burden for you to have to do that.
Yeah, because like it's a good thing up to a certain point, like being a people pleaser, but then you don't want to do it to the detriment of yourself, to
Yeah.
where you're not enjoying something anymore.
Yeah. And then for me too, it's like, I don't mind doing that. Like when I'm planning for 8 people, I want everyone to have input, because I want to sort of find a compromise everywhere. So it is a task, but I want to do that so everyone can also have a good time. And I think like that's what made me think of this idea, is like the fact that you have to preface it with saying like, I know it could come off selfish. I don't think it should ever come off selfish. This conversation that we're having right now should be assumed before someone says something like that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you would listen to this last season of Revisionist History?
I did, yes.
That last episode of Malcolm Gladwell, when he's listening to that recording, and she can't remember the own words to her song. Do you remember that
Yeah,
part?
I do, yeah.
And
Mhm.
he's saying, man, I was in my car listening to that. I almost cried at like his last sentence, because he was saying like she wrote a song about her mother, and she couldn't remember the lyrics to it. And she's like, at the end, she's like, I'm embarrassed. Like, this is a song about my mother and means a lot to me, and I can't even remember the lyrics to the song, but I can remember the lyrics to some random Britney Spears song. And she was like, I'm embarrassed about this. And Malcolm Gladwell saying it was like, because he was talking about like memory lapses and things like that, and like how we subconsciously deal with like maybe like repressed ideas and things like that. And he was saying like a lesser person would have sung that song perfectly, because it doesn't mean anything to them. And it means so much to her that she has to work through things. That's why she can't remember. And I was like, that's how we should view sort of everything. This third layer down, because that's where people actually are. That's how we should assume when people say things. That's what we should assume. And so when I heard you say that, I'm just like, no, that doesn't make you a lesser person. Like, you were working hard and you were aware of that. That's a good thing.
Thank you.
Good. So I'm glad that trip worked well out. That wasn't your topic of the day, was it? Your trip?
That wasn't I don't remember what my topic of the day was, but no, that wasn't my topic of the day.
Okay, I didn't want to hijack that, but what is your topic of the day?
I don't know, man. What is my topic?
So we went through your lettering.
Yes.
Can we talk about your lettering just real quick?
Yeah, please.
What was the creative process like behind designing our logo? Did Min give you like an idea of how he wanted it to look?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Men not giving directions, that's a first.
The only direction he gave me was, Leah, this is so nice of you. Don't spend more than like 10 minutes on it, though. Seriously. And I was like, well, if I did follow that rule, you'd get a really shit logo. But I wanted to put time into it. So my process is usually like I do everything by hand to begin with. I know right now it's so easy, and a part of me totally wants to do this too, is get an iPad with an Apple Pencil and start there and start digitally, because it does you can skip a couple steps.
Yeah.
If your end product is going to be digital anyway. But I like to start out by hand, and I just make a ton of just like thumbnail size sketches just to kind of get the idea out, play around with some different styles, and then once I land on something, refine it, scan it into the computer, throw it into Illustrator, and then make it digital. So that's kind of my process. And sometimes it's really quick, and sometimes it just takes especially the part by hand, just like doing it over and over and like going through like 5 pages through a notebook, because I just haven't found I can see it, where you can picture in your head where you want it to be, and it's just not getting there yet. So some projects of mine look like that.
Mm-hmm. Dean with a clutch question again. But is that process frustrating? Being sort of dabbling in film back in the day, having to work through all those. Because I agree with you. That's probably the best way to spit everything out and then refine it and then refine it and then refine it. That's frustrating to me. But is that therapeutic?
It's a little therapeutic. I love to just throw my headphones in and just listen to music, and I just kind of get sucked into the zone of doing things over in the refining process, and I'll be like, oh my God, I haven't eaten dinner yet, or oh look, I should have been in bed yesterday. So I don't know, I kind of like it, and I think a part of it too is especially I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I think this is a really good exercise in me kind of being okay with the process, enjoying the process, and getting the enjoyment out of the work it takes to get to the final product, instead of trying to just get to that final product and then I can be happy with it. It's about enjoying it along the way, which I think I'm trying to apply to other things in my life too, because we have people set out, whether it's yourself or external forces, setting these future milestones for you to hit, and then it's you get there and then it's what's next. It should be instead enjoying what it took to get there instead, because then I feel like you build up all these expectations and you're just more prone to being let down.
Yeah, that's what I mean. For me, when I'm just get it out, and then when you can actually see it, that's how you refine it. But I have that perfectionist side too. So even for this podcast, like Dawson and I have been talking about maybe starting a podcast for years now. But my thing was, well, if it doesn't feel close to perfect, why would you want to do it and put it out there? And so I just always hesitated on it. And then I've been working on that side of myself a lot more too, where it's just even if it's not perfect, if it feels fun and it feels right, just do it. And then everything we do in life is a refining process anyways. So just do it. And so it's just sort of getting over that perfectionist hump for me was super therapeutic, I thought.
No, for sure. I think there's something to be said for, and I don't know even when, people learn it, if it's as children or anything like that, but I feel like if at some point in your life you start to learn to enjoy the process and not want to make it perfect every time, that's just going to help you in a lot of areas in life. One thing that I've gotten into lately is bouldering. Which is indoor rock climbing, but it's not with the whole harness set up and the rope. It's all you have are climbing shoes and your arms and limbs, and then you just climb up these 16-foot walls. And it's a lot of fun, and I think it's something that I enjoy because it's like that in action. Like you want, like a part of you is like, oh, I wish I could do the really hard routes, or I wish I could make it to the top, which is where all the routes end. But instead it's like, you know, I got farther than I thought I would on this problem, and enjoying that, and instead of beating yourself up about it.
Yeah. There's no safety mechanism in bouldering?
I mean, they do teach you how to fall correctly so you don't break anything or paralyze yourself, but the waiver does say something like, by checking in and using this key fob, I acknowledge that I might die or become paralyzed.
Yeah.
They have like really cushy mats though, so when they teach you how to fall.
Yeah. Is that at Vertical Endeavors? Is that where
That's no, it's the Minneapolis Bouldering Project.
Oh, okay, cool.
Wow, it's a project.
Yeah.
It's not even good yet. That's awesome. Cool. So you've been doing, you feel like you've been working on yourself a lot lately then?
Yeah, I feel like, is this my topic?
Well, it was lettering and like your trip, and we kind of like dabbled in both.
Yeah.
But I see like at this point I see both coming together.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of self-reflection and thinking about where you are.
2018 for sure has been this like kind of figuring out who I am year, and also like I just learning a lot of things about myself, like a lot of bad habits that I may have had too, and trying to work through them with I still see the same like marriage therapist who helped with Nate and I.
Yeah.
And I still see him like kind of on a monthly basis just to talk through some things, because I'm like trying to date now, and there's all this like fucking shit out there.
Yeah.
So this year has been like I'm starting to see like where I've grown up with this maybe negative sense of self, and I need to turn that into a positive. So 2018 has been this year of like, this is me, and I can accept that. Like, I don't need to, like, yes, there may be things that all of us need to change about ourselves in order to grow and become more healthy people. But at the same time, it's like, there's no sense in beating yourself up about things. Like, I'm late for things. I'm late. Like, I'm just late for things, and I do my darndest to like be on time. And I'm gonna shower an hour before I really need to, and somehow I'm still late.
Yeah.
But now I'm at a point I'm like, but that's just kind of me. I'll work on it when it like really seems fit to work on it. Like, okay, I need to respect the person that I'm meeting with and be on time. But like, if it's something like work meetings, sometimes I'm late.
I'm 5 minutes late. I didn't get coffee. Shut up. Do you ever feel like at any point in your life where you've had this major of a reflection moment?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I take that back. Getting married was actually a huge point of, in not really self-reflection, but more like identity and like sense of self.
Why? You were nervous, or?
I was nervous. I think one of the things was like, I didn't know what I don't think we knew what we were getting into at the time. It kind of became the like we're great friends. Like, we do a lot of like friend things really well. So, hey, this seems like the natural next step. We were together for 5 years, got engaged. We're engaged for a year. And it just like kind of, okay, well, the machine's moving. So you kind of just moved along with it. But at the time, like, there was also like changing my name. And suddenly I was like, I kind of had this identity crisis of like, like, who am I? And I think not tackling it at the time with like an expert, like a therapist or a counselor or something like that. I just kind of like internalized a lot of that and carried it through our marriage too, which, I see that in hindsight, and it's like, there's a lot of things where it's always good to be more proactive about those moments of self-doubt and whatnot.
I know, like you're saying, like your name is just one item, and it's probably many things. Do you feel like if you hyphenated, did you hyphen?
No,
if you did, do you think you would have felt better?
I don't think I would have. Hyphens, just logistically speaking, are a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I kept my maiden name, so I kept Mylander, and I turned it into a middle name. So I just had two
Nice.
middle names, and then I took his last name for my last name.
Okay.
And I was like, cool, now I have 4 names, and I wonder how many more I can fit in later.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I sat with that. But that going back to lettering and maybe making a career out of it, then I was like, oh my God, if I put together a website, like, what name do I go by? Like, what do I want to be known as? Like, when people reach out to me, like, what feels right, I think, is what it came down to. And I just couldn't grapple, or I was grappling with, and I just couldn't figure out, like, when people address me or when I put my name on, like, the agreements, like the service agreements, like Leah Wilson, Leah Mylander, Leah Jew, like, do I just keep chopping it off and then it's just like, just call me Leah? I don't know.
You go by one name.
Yeah, just like Prince.
Just letter yourself a symbol like Prince.
Yeah. That's another thing too. I've been thinking a lot more about the division of just labor, just sort of unspoken labor, and society has a lot of momentum, and it sucks that the division of identity and calling yourself something after you get married, the only person that has to think about it is the woman. The man doesn't have to think about it at all. They assume you're going to take their name. And so that's an unfair division of labor.
Yeah, I think, I think it's unfair. I think the assumption of it is what's unfair. But I feel like there's more people nowadays who are thinking like, or at least more women who are like, I don't need to change my name. Like, me sharing a last name with you or not sharing doesn't make me more or less married to you.
Right.
Like, it shouldn't mean anything. But I think, like, what it's that assumption that, like, she'll just change everything. She'll kind of change her it's her legal identity.
Right.
And it'll be all good.
Yep.
But I think, there's a danger in assuming that she's not also having those, like, questions about, like, who am I?
Yeah. Those
and that
thoughts.
kind of thing.
And it's just like, it's never, because of the burden of labor is on the woman, it's never the man that comes, well, like you said, more and more these days, and that's a great thing, but it's never the man that comes to you at a dinner table and that asks you, do you actually want to change your name? It would always be on the woman to bring that up. And then I feel like in some situations, if a woman does bring that up, that gives the man cause to get angry, get frustrated, confused, and it shouldn't even get to that point.
Yeah, it shouldn't get to that point. And I think, I don't know, it's something that, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But it's things are changing, which is good. I think people have different mindsets about it now.
Yeah.
Where did the idea come from in the first place? Because they don't do that in China, I don't think.
No, they don't. They don't do that
my
in Korea
parents
either.
didn't do that. Yeah.
I don't think they do that even in some, like, I want to say, like, some Spanish or Latin families. They kind of just keep adding names on instead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
That's got to be like a really Western
That's
thing.
a super
I guess,
Western
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Howdy, y'all.
Like, now tell us, Dawson, where does this come from? Being the most Western out of all of us.
Well,
Being the
you
most
should-
white on.
I actually have my degree in being white.
And a master's in white.
A master. I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it came from. I
thought it was
The
property.
patriarchy.
It could be property. I'm sure it is.
Probably is. It
Yeah.
probably is.
Yeah.
Because that's even like, like the last name, like Dawson.
Yeah.
That's.
Right.
I think how that worked was it was Daw, and then that was his son,
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Oh, you're son of
Daw.
Daw.
son of Daw.
Dog.
Yeah.
My name is Andy, son of Daw,
Yeah.
from the house of shithead. I don't know.
Because
Yeah.
I remember that was our friend Andy. His last name is Christensen.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
I remember that. I was like in 7th grade when.
Son of Christ.
Yeah, when he would like tell me like, yeah, like this is how white people do it. Like, and this is like the lineage, like Christian, and like
Right.
I'm the son of. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Leviticus.
something along those lines. I don't know, and I'm not. I don't really care.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Also, it doesn't feel like you are. I don't know if this is something that helps you work through it. I feel like some people are bashful whenever they get divorced. Is that a thing for you, or is that something like if I'm open about it, it helps me, or?
Yeah, you know what? I feel like if it was like 20 years, maybe even 10 years ago, it would be like the scarlet letter, like a big fucking red D on your chest or something like that. But now I think it's like
I don't know if it'd
big
be
D.
red.
Yeah, it's got to be red. Can't it be yellow or white?
Black. 50 Shades of Divorce. No, years ago, I think it would have been a problem. And I'm not saying like it for me, even for the both of us, it's that wasn't there. But I think it's something not to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like people assume like you gave up or you failed or all that kind of, we make such a big deal out of failing, like epic fail, and like you should feel bad, like all that negative shit that goes with it. So I feel like approaching it from like, yeah, I'm divorced. That's just a part of my life. Yeah. And it's like not something to be ashamed of or bashful about or feel like you need to hide or like not have it come up in conversation in some way.
Did you feel that way immediately?
No, I think it took a while, and I think even it almost depended on who I was telling it to, because I think a lot of I think a lot of things on this podcast. I think I start every fucking line with I think, but sometimes it's dependent on who you're talking to and telling about your divorce. So friends were more just like, I'm for both of us actually, friends and family have been super supportive about it. And I think that was a bit of a surprise. We weren't quite expecting that.
Yeah.
But no one like shun the non-believers, like that didn't come out of the woodwork for us. But I think there is that based on who you're talking to, because they may have their own whatever in their head that they've built around divorced people or the context of the divorce.
Of course. It's the politics of life, really, because especially now, like since I'm an atheist, when I have that conversation with people, I feel like I was lucky that even though my mom is a deep and devout Christian, our relationship, I knew the politics of our relationship, so I could tell her, like, hey, I don't believe in this anymore, and I knew that she wasn't gonna like throw me out of the family or anything like that. But there are obviously situations where when children tell their parents, like, I don't believe in Christ anymore, they get tossed out of their family, and it's like they don't have a family anymore. So then you have to sort of do the calculus on, is it worth telling, or is my atheism down the list of priorities enough where it's like the 10th most important thing in my life, but my family is the 4th most important thing in my life, and so it's worth for me to hide this. And so like, yeah, people do those calculations. You did that. But I also wanted to say thank you for talking about that with us, because there's still, like you said, no one should have to work through those politics.
Yeah.
But people still do because there's a social stigma. So I honestly think being that open about it, you're kind of a hero that way.
Cool. Thanks. I'm trying to do better at like accepting compliments. It's not very Minnesotan to be like,
yes, I agree.
Thank you for the compliment.
I'm good at giving them out, but I feel gross when people give them to me. I just like, what do I say? Like, I just like look at the ground.
You go, I tried, but this other guy did it better. So.
But no, I think it's a really important thing. One, I hope it's helpful for you, but I hope it's helpful for other people to hear that and think like, that's not weird. That's how I feel inside.
Yeah, I feel like it's like being just true to yourself, and the more you have to hide yourself or parts of yourself to especially people that you love, friends and family, it takes a toll on you. Emotionally and mentally.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's another reason when like the gay marriage push happened too. That's why I was like totally on that side, because I remember just like laying in bed and thinking, man, if I had to hide myself every day from people that really mattered to me, how much of a toll that would take. And it just seemed unfair. And I was just like, no, these people should be able to come out of the closet. They shouldn't even have to come out of the closet. They should just begin out of the closet.
Yeah.
And it just seems like such an unfair thing. And so these weird social stigmas, I'm very aware of them. they sort of surface quicker for me, and then I sort of go down this path of, whoa, why is it that way? So to hear you talk about this topic, I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, and I think another thing that I've been kind of mentioning here too is like, I still see the same like marriage counselor or whatever, and I think like the social stigma around just mental health issues, I think it's when people hide that stuff, you get PTSD, you get high suicide rates in certain sectors of the population. So I think being able to be open about that and not have people like suddenly think you are like this black sheep or something like that of the family, it's unfortunate that it's there, but I think we could do more to make it normal, normalize it, getting help.
Just repressed feelings. Like I think you have to balance that, because we do live in a world where we can't spew everything out. That would just make like a conscious level much more complicated, but you don't want to make your subconscious level complicated either, and that's a lot harder to deal with because it's not present, it's not visible, and so you have to be very aware that there are things bubbling up there. And just like listening to Gladwell's latest season 2, just like how much of that is there. It's tough, man. Yeah. Wow. That got heavy?
Yeah, that got heavy quick.
So Leah, you were saying earlier that you're starting to date again?
Yeah.
So does your divorce ever come up, or do you even feel the need to even mention it at all?
Oh, that's a good point.
Another great question.
I do feel a need to just throw it out there, but not in the way that it's like past. You'll hear about it at some point.
Nice.
But it depends on how it's received. Most guys are like, okay, that's cool, because I think like even our generation, there's divorce is common.
It seems like
it's just like it's a thing. It's not like this hush hush under the rug stuff. It's like, oh, okay, cool, you're divorced. Yeah, I know, like I've got friends who are divorced or whatever, family. But at the same time, when you throw it out there, you don't want to be saying like, so I have all this baggage with me. How much is it going to cost to check this?
That's great. I wish I could live for like 2,000 years just to see the development, not on Earth. I wish this like weird like spirit men could live for 2,000 years.
Just old fucking men still on the planet.
Like Heaven University, where I'm just like just observation, where I'm just like, well, now that because I feel like yes, it's much more accepted in our generation, and I feel like it would have been, the divorce rate would be what it is today 30 years ago if there wasn't this stigma on divorce. I feel like that was like a blockade. And so what does that blockade cause? Probably a lot of mental stress, like emotional breakdowns, probably a lot of domestic abuse and things like that. So okay, now this blockade is dissolving. So what does this lead to? And then what sort of next barrier do we run into? And then how do people overcome that? I just want to see that happen over like 2,000 years, and then just be like, I knew it 2,000 years ago, you idiots.
You're just like Spiritman's just gonna come down from Heaven University and be like, haha, bitches, I knew this was gonna happen.
Thanks for the great thesis, you dummies. It's weird when you're sort of like a social progressive and you sort of see these things and you're like, man, why is it that way? And you sort of see slowly, like I've sort of seen two major things happening in my adult life with gay marriage, and then marijuana starting to become, I mean, I'm for sure in my lifetime it's going to be federally legal. And so sort of like these blockades sort of dissolve. Like I've seen two of them happen, and like these other big ones in my head, I just want to like see it actually happen. Yeah. So thank you again for talking to us about that. If you ever get to a point where, if you ever cross another threshold or hurdle and you have something to say, let us know. And I think I would definitely love to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I'd love to also talk about it.
Yeah. Have your mom listen to it.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Do you have any last thoughts?
Not really. Oh, I think this is great. Like, the podcast that you guys finally just like it took off the runway.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Aw.
It's crazy to like, cause it's a hobby.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to hear, like on the way here, Dawson and I were talking. We carpooled down here. We were talking, and
Green.
yeah,
Yeah, we were going green.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Drive one car instead. But he's just like, he has coworkers like telling him stuff like that too. And I got all these like private messages, people saying like, this segment of your podcast, like I was thinking about that the other day, and like to have other people like think about it, like it was great to listen to. I listened to a whole episode, and it felt like 10 minutes. It's like, we're not doing anything too special here.
No, but I had to. Where my in-laws were like, "So we see you're doing a podcast these days. Tell us about that." And I'm like, we talk about farts and poop, and then we get deep for a minute, and then I say something dumb. So take a listen. Yeah, check it out.
That's awesome. Yeah, we didn't talk about. Did we talk about pooping or farting at all this episode?
So we end every podcast now by asking, "Tell us your worst poop snow."
Wow. We really
didn't. Yeah, we didn't.
We've almost talked about pooping every episode.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, you kind of have now because you brought it up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't count. It wasn't organic like most turds.
Yeah.
like all turds.
Because it was like we had a stretch of Top Golf. But
Yeah.
then
Top Golf turned into poop?
No. We like the first like 4 or 5
Yeah.
episodes. Somehow Top Golf always came up.
Oh.
But I feel like
Because we started this when the Top Golf was like grand open.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I gotta go there.
I know. But even Uglo talked about how he went to Top Golf in Vegas.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've somehow always come around to poop. And even in our lightning round, now I've included, are you afraid of public restrooms? Part of the reason I put that in there is there's a deep part of me that hopes that triggers a poop conversation.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I've been in some nasty public restrooms. So
Wow.
Yeah.
We should do an entire podcast. I was thinking like down the line we should do like recap things too.
Yeah.
Or like host specific ones. You should start compiling your poop stories and like episode 50. Ooh, anniversary. An hour of Dawson's poop stories.
Well, good thing this is only episode 10.
You've got enough time to plan it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been thinking more and more. I've been seeing so much like super hard right-wing stuff in my Facebook feed lately. I don't know why, but I must have crazy ass friends. I've been thinking about taking screen caps of those in a year from now, just writing a book, like a coffee table book of like crazy shit you can leave on your coffee table.
Oh yeah. That's not bad.
You could probably just do that right now and make a really fantastic book. Publish it. You should publish it and throw it on coffee tables.
A Twitter account or Instagram account like crazy, and then you would just
Blow up.
like, you can listen to me on my podcast.
Our podcast is actually even better.
Yeah, if you like this, check out the podcast. It's really fun.
That's great. Any last questions for Leah?
Dean?
No, I don't have any. Thank you, Leah, for everything.
Yeah, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
That was great. I'm really excited for people to listen to that.
I am too. Hi, Mom.
Dad. You want to close us out?
Yeah. Again, thanks Leah for the logo. You can check that out on our Instagram at Quality Under Pressure. You can see it on our Twitter page at Q.U.P Podcast, and of course, you can see it on our Facebook page. And we're doing this thing now. We're emails. So if you want to email a question to us, it's qualityunderpressure@gmail.com.
That's right.
Easy.
All right.